Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tales The Lost Stories, a place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tiger. Today we're diving back into The Color Matrix, a storyline where Ace uses the color matrix to venture forth his consciousness into other versions of himself across the multiverse for 8 hours of his own time, which could equal any amount of time in the other person's universe. Think of James Cameron's Avatar, The Matrix, and Sword Art Online. The similar concept where you use a machine to put your consciousness into another body, but on a multiversal scale. Today, Ace seems to find a universe where he's the wielder of the Omnitrix, and he's got to secure some prisoners. So, let's dive in. The Color Matrix, World 11. It's hero time to secure prisoners. I was scrolling through the multiverses, when I found one rather unique. There was a multiverse that's surrounded by a unique device, a watch which allowed the wearer to transform into different aliens. Its main name was the Omnitrix. I picked one of the universes revolving around the Omnitrix, and I loaded up into the Matrix.
Sir, the universe you have picked, you are a wielder of the universe's strongest device, the Omnitrix.
Daisy explained. Okay, cool, I'm rather excited, I told the AI. I walked over to the bed, I stripped off my shirt, I laid on the bed, and the needles penetrated the back of my neck and my fingertips. I closed my eyes and I drifted off into the darkness. I woke up and I climbed out of bed. I got dressed and sorted the mess that I called my hair out, and then suddenly my plumber's badge started beeping. I picked it up and I answered it. Hello, I said. Ace, we need to go right now. There's a plumber's transport ship that crashed on a moon not far from the base, and it was delivering prisoners. We need to secure those prisoners, my partner Rook said. Okay, I'll be there now, I replied. I shoved my plumber's badge in my pocket, grabbed the green jacket and put it on. I glanced down at my wrist, the Omnitrix staring back at me. Don't go giving me the wrong alien today now, yeah? I muttered to the watch. I then left my apartment and headed for the hangar. There, I found the cat-like alien Rook, my partner. He stood there with the hollow tablet in hand as I walked up to him. Ah, Ace, good, you're here. It is time to go, he said. We walked onto a ship and Rook started the engine. Thankfully, he knew how to fly the thing. The ship left the space station we were at and we flew into the vast space. To one of the moons. As we entered the atmosphere, we could see black smoke in the sky. We followed it and then found the crashed prison ship. Rook landed the ship we were on and we climbed out. We walked up to the crashed ship and instantly found several footprints. We should follow those, Rook said. Yeah, thanks, Captain Obvious. Let's go this way, I noted, pointing in one of the directions of the footprints. I then walked off and followed the trail. Rook followed me. We followed the footsteps. We ran into an abandoned village. Surprised this moon had civilization, I muttered. There seems to be no life forms here, other than our escaped convicts, Rook stated. I nodded. Then suddenly we heard a rather strange noise. We both dropped into our fighting stances. Then suddenly a Tetraman jumped out behind some rocks and smashed its 4 arms onto the ground, which made me and Rook jump back. Rook pulled out his proto tool and it shifted into a blaster mode. He started firing several energy rounds into the Tetraman. I pulled up my sleeve and revealed the Omnitrix. I pressed the 2 side buttons and a green hologram appeared. I turned the dial, shifting through my alien transformations. I picked one and slammed my hand down the Omnitrix in a flash of green light and I transformed into 4 arms.
Now let's even out the playing field,
I grunted. I threw out 2 of my 4 fists into the Tetraman and slammed him back. Then the Tetraman threw 2 of his own fists. I caught both of them, then uppercut him with my 3 fists. Then pulled him in close before slamming 2 of my hands down on his head, slamming him to the ground. I then repeatedly punched him until he passed out. The Tetraman lay there unconscious. I returned back to my human form as Rook pulled out a pair of handcuffs and then the Tetraman teleported away once cuffed, back to the ship's prison cell. Well, we have 2 more convicts left to go, Rook said. Okay, let's go find them, I told him. We walked for several hours, till suddenly a deep growl came from behind us. We turned around and saw a Volpomancer running towards us. The blind dog alien ran at us, teeth and claws, bared, ready to kill. Rook quickly shifted his prototool into a sword and swung it at the Volpomancer, smacking it in the face, and it crashed on the ground. Let me guess, you will go with your wild mud, your Volpomancer transformation, Rook said. Actually, I was thinking about something a bit more strategic, I told him. I activated the Omnitrix and turned the dial till I found the alien I wanted. I slammed my hand down on the Omnitrix, and in a flash of green, I transformed into Echo Echo. I duplicated myself, and my clones all circled around the Volpomancer.
Echo, echo, wall of sound.
All of me yelled, and each clone opened their mouths and released a sonic scream, each one hitting the blind dog like Alien. The Volpomancer roared out in pain, it clawed the ground, then eventually passed out. All of the Echo Echoes grouped back into one of me, and then I transformed back into my human form, using Echo Echo's vibrational scream to screw with their echolocation-like senses. Rather clever, Rook stated. I'm just glad that worked, I muttered. Rook attached a pair of handcuffs to the Volpomancer, then it teleported to the ship's prison cells. We then continued walking, following another set of footprints. Then we walked up to a rather strange-looking tree. Rook scanned the tree when suddenly the roots exploded from the ground and grabbed Rook and pulled him to the ground, wrapping around him, encasing him, making it so he was stuck. I activated the Omnitrix, turned the dial, and found an alien that would help. I slammed my hand on the Omnitrix, and in a flash of green, I transformed into Big Chill. Then the tree shifted into a Mathanosian. It's a swamp fire, Rook grunted under the vines. Thanks, Rook, but I got that, I replied. I opened my wings and became corporeal. I floated at the Mathanosian and phased through him, and I froze him solid. But he managed to break out of the ice. Then he threw blasts of fire at me. I became physical again, and I breathed a blast of ice, freezing the fire blasts. I landed and my wings wrapped around me once again, becoming my cloak. I blocked an incoming punch, and I kicked the Mathanosian in the chest. I then breathed ice at his feet, freezing them to the ground. Then I slammed my fist in its face. Its head exploded, but then it reformed. I grabbed its head with both hands, and I breathed ice over its head, freezing it solid. Then I punched it in the head, the ice broke, and the plant alien dropped to the floor unconscious. The roots released its grip from Rook as he stood up and dusted himself off. I transformed back into my human form. Thanks, Rook muttered. No problem, partner, I grinned. Rook handcuffed the Mathanosian, and it teleported to the ship's prison cells. Then we walked back, and Rook started the engine as we both climbed into the ship, and we headed back to the space station. Would you like to go to your Grandpa Max's house for some squid dumpling soup? Rook asked. Sure, I haven't managed to speak to Grandpa Max in a while, I told him. As we flew into the space station, everything went black. I woke up and climbed out of bed.
So, your 8 hours here was 11 hours and 3 minutes in that universe.
Daisy told me. Thanks, Dee, I told her back. I placed my shirt on and sat on the console and scanned more universes where I had the Omnitrix. And I found more where I knew someone with the Omnitrix, I fought someone who wore the Omnitrix, or I was an alien race that was also in the Omnitrix. I think I'm going to enjoy these multiverses, I grinned. I spent the rest of my day scanning through these multiverses and making some notes. And there you have it, guys. Another quick story from the Color Matrix. This time, of course, it's Ben 10. And I absolutely adore Ben 10, so you can definitely see some more Ben 10 stories coming from the Color Matrix at some point. A huge shout out to A Crown and his YouTube channel, The Author's Crown. He's been helping me out with these storylines for the last couple of chapters, and of course, make sure you check out Tiger Tales Game Over, the other channel that has the Color Matrix on as well. But because the Game Over channel revolves specifically around video game storylines, you can find all the video game storyline related stories when it comes to the Color Matrix on the Game Over channel. So far, we've entered games like Halo, Call of Duty, and the such. So make sure you go check them out. And of course, make sure you check out the rest of the Tiger Tales channels. We have Tiger Tales and Tiger Tales Mysterious Origins. Those two have specifically storylines and fan fictions. The last one there actually hosts most of my original stories that you can go listen to. And then there's Tiger Tales X, where I get official crossovers made. Things like Ben to Alien Force and Doctor Who crossing over. Crossovers you didn't think you'd want or didn't think you need, but they're there. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I shall see you guys real soon.
That before we can Don't touch my Pringles.